I'm a licensed naturopathic physician. I have 27 years of clinical experience helping people to recover their health with science-based, clinically verified naturopathic medical therapeutics, especially people who have been let down hard by conventional medical doctors. Over 90% of the patients that have come to see me over the last quarter of a century have already been to conventional medical doctors. They've been let down by conventional medical doctors, and they are looking for a second opinion delivered by a licensed, regulated physician, an opinion which is science-based and clinically verified, which begs the question, if we are effective and the MDs are not effective, and we are effective, why are the MDs kings of the hill? Because they exist inside of a monopoly. They are the kings. That's why they're the king. They keep everybody else out. We don't have a free medical market. We haven't had a free medical market since the early 1900s. And the MDs go out of their way to suppress every other system of medicine. Meanwhile, their therapeutics fail. MD-directed treatments, right, are the leading cause of death in the United States and the leading cause of bankruptcy. And this just in from BBC News. Check it out at bbc.com/news/world. bbc.com. Drug overdose deaths in the U.S. reach record levels. More than 47,000 Americans died from drug overdoses in 2014, the most ever recorded in 1 year, U.S. officials said. 47,000. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention released a report on Friday that showed that the overdose deaths jumped 7% from 1 year earlier. The spike in deaths has coincided with a rapid rise in the abuse of opioid-based prescription painkillers, such as OxyContin and hydrocodone. The CDC also said that 61% of the deaths involved some type of opioid, including heroin. Many abusers of painkillers shift to using heroin as it becomes harder to obtain the prescription medications. Now, hold on. End quote, by the way. Many abusers of painkillers, right? That's what the article says. Abusers of painkillers. Well, why do people abuse painkillers? Why do they overuse them? Because they're scurrilous, bad, immoral people? No. Because they have weak wills? No. Because they're in pain. Why are they in pain? God only knows why they're in pain, but the MD therapeutics have failed them. Because the MDs are not concerned with getting to the root cause of what causes the problem. They're only concerned with medicating symptoms, sweeping stuff under the rug. And so when you don't get to the root cause of why the person has arthritic pain, when you don't get to the root cause of why someone has chronic fibromyalgia, when you don't get to the root cause of why somebody is in pain, the pain persists. And so what does the MD do? Prescribe a painkiller, and then another painkiller, and then another painkiller, and then another painkiller. Then the patient that they prescribe the painkiller to becomes addicted to the painkiller. And then the MD starts getting nervous and says, oh, no, you're abusing the meds. Well, no, they're not abusing the meds. They're trying to be pain-free, and you let them down. And so the MD stops writing the script for the pain med because they don't want to go to jail. They don't care about the patient. The patient's got to go somewhere for pain relief, so they get the stuff wherever they can. Why are they doing this? Because they're bad people? Because they have weak wills? No. Because the MDs have failed them. And when we read articles like this, it's never the MD's feet that are held to the fire. Nobody ever thinks it through. For goodness sakes. 47,000 Americans died in 2014 because the MDs have their heads up their rear ends, period. 3,000 people died in the Twin Towers. We go to war. 3,000 people die in the Twin Towers, 9/11, we go to war. 47,000 Americans die, and we do nothing. Well, that's not exactly true. We do something. We write another check for our medical insurance, which supports the industry, which is the leading cause of death, and under whose watchful guidance and cautious care this type of ridiculous medical nonsense persists. This must be what it was like during Nero's reign, during Caligula's reign in the Roman Empire. It's out of control, ladies and gentlemen. And we are still right in the middle. We are right in the middle of this myth, this cultural myth of the MD. Because even when we see headlines like this, do we think to ourselves, oh, those MDs don't know what they're doing? No, we blame the patient. That's the meme here. That's the meme behind the message. It's not the doctor's fault. It's the patient's fault. The patients should just suck it up. The patient's abusing the medication. Well, no, they're not. The patient's in pain. The doctor failed them. Period. Why don't we just call a spade a spade? Because we have been culturally conditioned to genuflect at the altar of the MD. We have deified the MDs. We believe that they can do no wrong, which allows them to do wrong without any consequences. So the MDs kill us, the MDs harm us, the MDs fail us. We've given the MDs $1 trillion to come up with a cure for cancer, and we're no closer to a cure for cancer now than we were 40 years ago when the whole thing started. It was longer, more like 55 years, right? Middle of the 50 years, middle of the 60s with Richard Nixon's war on cancer. Now it's 2016, almost. But this is what happens when you take your eye off of the ball. This is what happens when you are busy with your life. This is what happens when the bank owns your house, the bank owns your car. You have to work a couple of jobs, maybe 3, just to get by. You have to work, your wife has to work, your kids have to work. Everybody has to work now just to make ends meet. The American dream ain't looking so good anymore. Women aren't staying home. Husbands aren't staying home. People aren't staying home in order to take care of the kids. The kids have to go to daycare. Why does all of this happen? Because everybody's poor. Why is everybody poor? Because, well, everybody has been convinced that the best way to make money is to trade your time for money. That's good for the corporations. It's good for the powers that be, but not so good for you and not so good for me, because we're working so much just to make ends meet that we don't have time to think all this other stuff through. And so we just trust that the people in the white coats at the hospital know what's best for us. They don't. They do not know what's best for you. And as a matter of fact, if you're going to go to see them, the chances are that they're going to hurt you, either directly or indirectly. So they give you a pain medication without taking care of the root cause of the pain, and then you get addicted to the pain med, and then they stop writing the prescriptions, then they hang you out to dry. They sleep quite soundly at night with Lunesta. But what do? You writhe in pain. And then you start to think it's your fault. You start to think, maybe I do have a weak will. Maybe I am a bad person. No, you're not. You just haven't thought it through. You trusted that the MDs could fix it. And interestingly enough, you're probably going to write another medical insurance premium check, even though you're jonesing for OxyContin. This is what it's like in the upside down, inside out, Alice through the looking glass land world of conventional 21st century unmedicine. Ladies and gentlemen, your medical doctor may be the nicest person that God ever created, but they are not the smartest person that God ever created, and they are not humanistic, because if they were humanistic, they would put a stop to this. But they do not. They would rise up, right? I mean, if you're involved in a bank robbery and you're sitting in the car, you're the getaway driver, and the bank robbers go into the bank and the bank robbers shoot somebody and you get caught, you're going to be charged with murder even though you weren't even carrying a gun. You were complicit in the crime. You were there. And it was because of your presence that it was happening. So, when people die under the watchful gaze of the MDs, even though it might not have been their patient, maybe it was their colleague's patient, they don't do anything. They don't raise an alarm. They don't rock the boat. How about the police officers in Chicago that were standing by while that police officer a year ago unloaded 16 shots into that poor black kid? 16 shots. And then he was reloading. And then they stopped him. Such an egregious crime that when the district attorney saw the video a year later, she charged him with murder immediately. Well, why didn't his brothers in blue stand up and say something before that? Because they do the same thing that the MDs do. They have each other's back. And this is a problem. We do not live in a just society. The king gets what the king wants all of the time. And the best possible thing that you can do up against this situation is fire your medical doctor now. Stick around. Dr. Peter Glidden here. Thanks so much for clicking on the link. I appreciate your trust and your curiosity. Last year in the United States, we spent over $30 billion on nutritional supplements, and everybody's still sick. When it comes to nutritional supplements, the recipe is everything. All wine is made from grapes. But there's a great deal of difference from bottle to bottle, depending on too many variables to count. It's the same with nutritional supplements. If you need to spend hard-earned money on nutritional supplements, which you do because medical insurance doesn't pay for it, did you ever wonder why? Well, that's the subject for an entirely different conversation. But in point of fact, our position is, in order for the body to work the way that God and nature intended it, there are 90 essential nutrients that need to be imported into it on a daily basis. These 90 essential nutrients are not all present in the food supply. You must supplement. It's mandatory. You must give your body the raw materials it needs every day to optimize its structure and function. You must give your body a fighting chance. So you need nutritional supplements. Well, which nutritional supplements should you take? That's the million-dollar question. I've been doing naturopathic medicine, practicing naturopathic medical therapeutics in clinical settings for over a quarter of a century now. And as God is my witness, I am here to tell you that the nutritional supplements which produce the most consistent, effective results are those developed and delivered by Youngevity. If you have finally snapped out of it and seen the light, if you are finally convinced that medical nutrition is what your body has been missing your entire life, and if you're ready to take a walk through the undiscovered country of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, then you need to try Youngevity's nutritional supplements, because they produce the most consistent results of anything I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot in over a quarter of a century of primary care naturopathic medicine. Fill out the form on this page, ladies and gentlemen, click the submit button, and a Youngevity representative whom I know and trust will be in touch with you to show you what to do to support and promote your body's ability to optimize its structure and function. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your trust. I am your steadfast advocate for health, Dr. Peter Glidden. Live long and prosper. I'll see you around campus. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 844-374-5433. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Let's go to Charles in Tennessee and see what's up. Hello, Charles. Welcome back. You are live.
Hello, Dr. Glidden. How are you?
Very, very good. Thanks. Hopefully I'll get better. Merry Christmas, Charles.
Merry Christmas to you. God bless you for your work, sir. I just started following you recently, and I tell you, man, you are amazing, and I thank God for you. You're an amazing individual, sir.
Well, I appreciate the positive strokes, Charles, but listen, brother, we are all in this together. We have to stick together, and we have to grow a grassroots coalition here because people are dying needlessly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I just had a quick question for you, Dr. Glidden.
Yeah.
I had gastric bypass in 2008. I weighed 553 pounds. obstructive sleep apnea, and I was told by the doctor, well, the gastric bypass will help me lose the weight, which would help me get rid of the sleep apnea.
Yeah.
I went through. I was not in agreement with changing my body the way God made it, but I struggled with the weight piece, so I went through with the gastric bypass. I lost 263 pounds.
Yeah, nice.
I kept the weight. I kept the weight off for about 5 to 6 years. Was doing well. 2012 to about 2013, 14. Went through some job changes, some different medical challenges as far as some depression, other things like that. Put back on 100 pounds, and so now I'm finding out that it's not all. It's some of it is like the body not getting the minerals and things of that nature. So I want to know, for someone that's had gastric bypass, what do you suggest of your products that I use to get the right nutrients and minerals and things in my body?
Well, I'm happy to help you figure that one out, Charles. That's it's relatively easy, and so I'm all in as far as that goes. But here's what I want to mention before we go down that road. The medical doctors convinced you that you needed to have gastric bypass, and that was going to be the solution to all your problems. And so you agreed, and you had the operation done. You lost 200 pounds, but then 5 years later it came back. So the MDs were incorrect, right?
Yes, sir.
So the treatment failed. The treatment was not the cure for your condition that they told you that it would be. So I'd get a lawyer and I'd sue them for everything that they're worth. That's what I would do, because their treatment failed you. They sold you a false bill of goods. They're practicing quack medicine. They told you that it was going to do this. It failed. And what are they going to do? Now they're going to blame you. Oh, you're just a lazy SOB. You're eating whatever you want to eat now. Well, you cut my digestive system in half, for goodness sakes. You told me that was going to cure the problem. Oh, well, they're going to obfuscate. They're going to buffer. They're not going to take any responsibility for their incompetence. And I got to tell you something, Charles. Being overweight is not your fault. It's not your fault. You're not lazy. You don't have a bad gene. It's not because you're depressed. It's not because you're an Aquarius. It's not because of anything other than medical incompetence. You are under the care of your medical doctor, and while you were under the care of your medical doctor, following their advice, doing everything that they told you to do, you gained 500 pounds on their watch. And then they convinced you to do a gastric bypass. You lost 200 pounds. You're still 300 pounds. As far as I'm concerned, you're not even close to being healthy. And then it came back. 100 pounds of it came back. For goodness sakes. This is my pet peeve with the entire institution of medicine. Because when these people fail, which they do most of the time, they do not look to their own house. They do not. They do not. They are unapologetic. They are unconflicted with their failures. You know what they do? They find 10 more people to have a gastric bypass surgery because that's all that they know. And nobody holds their feet to the fire. Nobody calls BS on them, for goodness sakes. And I bet you that if you look back in the records, they had you sign all of these legal documents before you had the gastric bypass that completely relinquished them from any responsibility if it didn't work. This is the way that it is. In the upside down, inside out world of MD-directed medicine in the 21st century, these people should all go to jail. You stick with me, Charles. I'm going to dial this in for you on the other side of the break. So happy that you found me. So glad that you called. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just getting started. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Strap on your seatbelts and stick around.
If you are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, if you are finally finished with expensive and ineffective MD treatments, and if you are frustrated with not knowing which nutritional supplements to take, you have come to exactly the right place. We are here to help. Log into eiffelhealth.com, click the contact button, and someone who has been working with Dr. Glidden will contact you and show you exactly what to do to recover your health. Go to eiffelhealth.com, that's eiffelhealth.com, and click the contact button now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Check out the website, glidden.healthcare. Glidden.healthcare. That's Glidden, like the paint, .healthcare. I've got tons of information on my website. If you like what we talk about on the radio, you're going to love what's available on my website. Go to glidden.healthcare, become a Dr. Glidden advocate today, and join the revolution for science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition for the masses. Why? Because my people are destroyed by lack of knowledge. We're back with Charles in Tennessee. Charles, are you still with me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks for hanging on there, brother. So here's the deal, Charles, right? Because you've had the gastric bypass, it may be tricky figuring out a schedule to get this stuff into your body in a way that's not going to upset the apple cart, okay?
Okay.
So I can tell you what a good dose for you will be, but you might have to muck around with it a little bit to figure out a way to get the amount that I want you to get into your body in a way that doesn't give you nausea or make you burp a lot or give you diarrhea, okay?
Okay.
So here's what I would start with. I would get one Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid.
One Healthy Body Start Pack?
Yep, 2.0 liquid. Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid. Get one of those.
Okay.
2 bottles of plant-derived minerals.
Okay.
2 bottles of plant-derived minerals. And that's what I would start with. Okay?
Okay.
And here's how I want you to take it. In that healthy pack, there are 3 different things. There's a Beyond Tangy Tangerine multivitamin powder, which is like the main contender here. Okay? And here's how I want you to take that. I want you to put 1 level scoop into 16 ounces of water. And to that, I'd like you to add 1 ounce of the plant-derived minerals. 1 level scoop in 16 ounces of water. And to that, add 1 ounce of the plant-derived minerals. I want you to take 2 hours to drink that down in the morning. And then I want you to repeat that in the afternoon. Take 2 hours, make a brand new solution, take 2 hours to drink it down in the afternoon. Okay?
Okay.
Additionally, in that healthy pack, there's something called EFA, like Edward Francis Albert. It's a fish oil capsule. I would like you to take 1 of those 3 times a day when you eat food. 1 of those 3 times a day when you eat food.
1 fish oil capsule.
3 times a day with a meal. That's important. All right? And or food. I don't care if it's a meal, but I don't want you to just pop that on an empty stomach, okay?
Okay.
Last but not least, there's a liquid calcium that's a part of this program. It's called Beyond OsteoFX. That's also in the Healthy Pack. I want you please to take 1 ounce of the liquid calcium in 2 or 3 ounces of orange juice. And I want you to swallow that immediately before bed. All right?
Okay.
Now, I want you to do that for 2 weeks, and then I want you to call me back.
Okay.
Now, your dose, a good dose for you, would be everything that I just said times 3. Right? I'm going to start you with 1/3 of your dose because we dose this stuff based on body weight. So I just described a 100-pound dose.
Okay.
But because you've had the gastric bypass, if you took a 300-pound dose, you might not be able to handle it because of the surgery, right?
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay. Now understand, right, that the main contributor to, there's one more thing I'd like you to do. I'm sorry. I forgot. It's 1 bottle of Sweeties. It's a product called Sweet Ease. SWEET-EZE, Sweeties.
Yes, sir.
I'd like you please to take 2 of those between breakfast and lunch, and 2 between lunch and dinner. And try to take that supplement at the same time every day. So, if it's like 10 o'clock or 3 o'clock, then take it at that same time every day. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the reason that people gain weight is because we eat too many calories. It can also be blood sugar issues and some other things going on, but usually it's too many calories, and because there was nobody in Auschwitz that was overweight, right? Nobody in the concentration camps of World War II that was overweight. Didn't matter what their pre-existing health conditions was, didn't matter what their age, their race, or their sex was, right? If you don't eat, you lose weight, period. So, the reason that we eat too many calories is because our bodies are nutritionally starved. The body knows that it's nutritionally starved, and it forces you to eat in the desperate attempt to gain nutrients. But the food that we're eating doesn't have the stuff that we need, so we eat and we eat and we eat, and we're still hungry. Exactly. It's got nothing to do with psychology. It has everything to do with physiology. Now, rarely, there are people that had, they're conflicted because of childhood trauma, and, they were abused by their mother or their father, either physically abused or sexually abused or verbally abused, and they haven't worked that crap out. And so they eat in order to kind of, for comfort, right? That's different. That happens, but it's not there all of the time. The major driver of the overweight condition is just people are just nutritionally deficient, and they didn't know that they were. Which also, by the way, is what causes depression, becoming nutritionally deficient. The largest driver.
And you're right about these doctors. When I turned 40, I'm 42 now. When I turned 40, Dr. Glidden, I noticed I started getting a little sluggish, and I said, okay, maybe I was told maybe my testosterone levels are low. And so you go to these doctors, they want to give you these testosterone shots and all that BS. And I was like, oh, my goodness, well, maybe I'm just at a midlife where I'm just, don't have the energy I used to have. And it was just crazy, but you're right. It's physiology, not psychology. You're right.
Yeah, I know. And, the thing about it is that these people, these medical doctors, right, they're like colorblind artists, but they don't know that they're colorblind. And so their paintings are always going to be wrong. But because all of their colleagues' paintings are also always wrong, they just think that that's the way that it is, and that's the best that you can do. And, we're not perfect. It's the practice of medicine, and maybe 100 years from now we'll figure all this crap out, and they're wrong. It is the wrong method. It is the wrong method, and this is what I'm trying to wake people up to. Your medical doctor might be the nicest person that God ever created, but they have been taught a method of healing which is wrong. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can't start a fire with water, for goodness sakes. You put a fire out with water. So, but, because it's a monopoly and because they have hubris and arrogance, which is legendary, even when they fail like they did with you, they're not going to blame themselves. They're not going to look to their own house. They're not going to question their own motives or their own methodology. They're just going to sign somebody else up for another gastric bypass and give somebody else Prozac, for goodness sakes. It's nonsense.
Exactly.
So look, man, so now there's a couple more things you need to do. There are 12 foods that you need to stop eating. Are you familiar with that list?
Yes, sir. I watched the videos on YouTube that you have, the 12 foods that we should never look at again.
Okay, great. So you got to just stop eating that stuff yesterday, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you, for the first couple of weeks, I just want you to stop eating those 12 foods, and I want you to take these supplements into your body, and I don't want you to worry about calories or anything else. Just follow your appetite. Eat the way that your body wants you to eat. Take the nutritional supplements. Don't eat those 12 foods. See what happens to your weight, okay?
Okay.
And this is step 1. We're going to do step 2, 3, and 4 in the future, but I want you to call me back every 2-3 weeks with a report, and I'll help you through this for the next 6 months, okay?
I appreciate it, Dr. Glidden. Thank you so much, sir. And I will just say, man, you are a godsend. And to all your listeners, man, I turn everybody in my church on to you, all of my small group people. I wrote a book for women called Every Woman Needs to Know Her Cup Size, or Calling Her Uniqueness and Her Purpose. And all the women in my book club, I've turned on to you, and they are just so excited that we found you. I tell you, man, you are an amazing human being.
Well, Charles, I appreciate it very, very much. And you know, we gotta lean on results here, brother. Okay. Well, one last thing I want to tell you: start salting the food that you do eat so that it tastes good. Salt is your friend. Okay. I want you to salt your food so that it tastes good. And if you can find it, I'd like you to get sea salt. Or, you know, Celtic salt or Himalayan salt. I don't want you to use Morton's table salt, okay?
Yeah, I've been using pink Himalayan salt. Is that okay?
Yeah, you're the smartest man in Tennessee, Charles. That's good stuff.
Okay, because I was having problems with horrible insomnia because I'm a think tank all the time. My brain never turns off.
Yeah.
And so they told me to use salt and honey and put it under my tongue, and it'll help me sleep better instead of taking all the sleeping pills and that type of thing. So,
well, the calcium will make you sleep like a baby. The calcium will help you sleep like a baby. And you want to go to my website, glidden.healthcare, become a Dr. Glidden advocate, right? It's a $20 a month subscription. And you want to listen to last Thursday's show, because I taught a meditation technique that helps people to detach from their thoughts. So if you're bothered by an overactive mind, that's a positive thing most of the time until you're trying to go to sleep. There is a technique, it's very much like prayer, that you can use to detach from your thoughts, not control the thoughts, but detach from them and sink down into a very kind of peaceful spot inside of your consciousness. It's a little bit tricky to kind of get the hang of, just like trying to learn how to ride a bike, but I would encourage you to practice that, and if you can gain facility there, it's really gonna help you a tremendous amount. I appreciate everything that you do, and Charles, you call me every 2 weeks. I will look forward to it. Keep up the good work in Tennessee. You're welcome very much. Cleta is up next. I'm not sure where she's calling from. Let's ask her. Hey, Cleta, where are you calling from?
Hi, Dr. Glidden. I'm calling from Omaha, Nebraska. I spoke with you on October 20th in regards to my gallstones.
Okay, great. What happened?
Okay, you prescribed me to get some good herbs, liver and gallbladder health.
Yeah.
However, I've been taking them. Taking it. Oh, it tastes really nasty. However, I haven't been having any like pain in my stomach like I was having.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You told me, you know, after 4 months, call you in 4 months, and so I'm on my third bottle now. And you told me to get 4 bottles of them, so I'm on my third bottle right now.
Okay.
And,
all right, great. So we're up against a hard break here, Cleta. I'm going to finish out the show with you when we come back on the other side of the commercial break. I want you to tell the listening audience. Here's how I want you to prepare. I want you to, when we come back, I want you to tell the listening audience what your life was like before you took my advice and what it's been like since you took your advice. I get it that there's still work to do, but I want you to line up what exactly has happened for you when we come back. I appreciate the phone call. You're going to love this one, folks. Stick around.
If you are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, if you are finally finished with expensive and ineffective MD treatments, and if you are frustrated with not knowing which nutritional supplements to take, you have come to exactly the right place. We are here to help. Log into eiffelhealth.com, click the contact button, and someone who has been working with Dr. Glidden will contact you and show you exactly what to do to recover your health. Go to eiffelhealth.com. That's eiffelhealth.com and click the contact button now.
Back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, talking to Cleta in Nebraska. Okay, Cleta, line it up for my listening audience, please. Let us know what you were like before you talked to me and what's happened since.
Okay, before I talked to you, Dr. Glidden, I was having really bad pain in the pit of my stomach, which I thought it was like, I don't know, maybe some anti-acid stuff going on or whatnot. And so I kept having that going on. So I went to the doctor, and they took tests, and they told me that I needed to have surgery because I had gallstones. And so I was so against that. So I came home and I called you. And you told me to get, the good herb and liver gallbladder health. And so I got some of that, and I've been taking it. Like I said, I'm on my third bottle, and I haven't had any pain in my stomach at all whatsoever. I thank God for that. I thank God for you, Dr. Glidden. And the only thing I've been having, it will come and go, is like pain, like a burning sensation, pain in my back. Every so often, it'll come and go. But other than that, it's just been awesome. I haven't been having any pain in my stomach at all.
Gotta love it. You've been doing this for 3 weeks or 3 months?
Well, I'm on my third bottle, so it's been like, I started October 26th.
Okay.
On my first bottle.
October to November. So it's been like 7 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Awesome. Really, really good. Now, are you taking selenium, Cleta?
No, I'm not taking selenium because when I had spoke with you the last time, I told you it was taking my hair out or something.
Yeah, how many were you taking? How many were you taking? Do you remember?
I was only taking like 3 of them a day.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, how much Beyond Tangy are you doing?
I'm doing 2 scoops, 16 ounces of water, and then I'm doing 1 ounce of the white stuff. What's the? I can't remember.
The liquid calcium, yeah.
Yeah, and I put that in there along with my BTT stuff.
Okay, are you doing plant-derived minerals at all?
No, I'm not doing that.
Okay, so here's what I'd want you to do. I want you to get 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals with your next order.
Okay.
And I want you to put 1 ounce of that in with that drink every day.
Okay, 1 ounce. Okay.
When you finish up this bottle of the good herbs, I want you to stop it.
Okay.
Let it ride and see what happens. Cleta, how much water do you think you drink on a regular basis every day?
I drink, I want to say maybe like 8 ounces a day.
You drink 12 8-ounce glasses a day?
Yeah.
Well, good girl. All right, excellent. Well, then we don't have to walk down that road. And you're staying away from the 12 bad foods.
You know what? I talked to Darren, and he was telling me about the other 2. I've been away from the other 10. So
yeah, we just added 2. So corn and soy, you can warm up to those. That's okay. But as long as you've been staying away from the other stuff. Now, the last thing that would be helpful for you is the ultimate enzymes. How many of those are you taking?
Ultimate enzymes? I haven't been taking any of those.
Okay, I want you to get 1 bottle, please, of the ultimate enzymes.
Okay.
And I want you to take 1 before every meal, and I want you to do that for the next 3 months. Okay? So you can stop the good herbs now, but I want you to include 1 bottle of plant minerals and 1 bottle of the ultimate enzymes every month.
Okay. And how much of that should I take of the ultimate enzyme?
1 before every meal.
1 before.
Yep.
Every meal. Okay.
Now, if you add the plant minerals and the enzymes, and you just maintain the discipline with everything else, and you can stop the good herbs, I don't expect this to be a problem anymore. One more thing that you might want to do, if there's a good chiropractor in your town, if you have friends who've been to a chiropractor and they're good, I would go to the chiropractor and have them look at that part of your back that gets the burning pain every month. Might be something there that a nice, good old-fashioned chiropractic adjustment could take care of. Either way, you're on the road to recovery here, Cleta. I think you just need more time. Keep up the good work. I appreciate your trust and your commitment here to living a healthy life. If everybody in the world were like you, it would be a different place entirely. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. God willing and the creek don't rise. We'll see you next time. Live long and prosper.